Coming to you live from our studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the A1 Trading Daily Show. Whether markets are rising or falling, we're here to keep you up to date with the latest market news. Join us as we trade currencies, commodities, and indices live, Monday through Friday.
Morning, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream here today. I am running the show a little solo. Well, literally solo. It is a Saturday. We're going to be doing some chart markups. And as we get into this, of course, we'll be going through several different charts. And yeah, just doing a little bit of a Saturday trading session, or at least a analysis session, getting ready for the week ahead, especially as a swing trader. I find this, I do this sort of thing myself anyways, off camera. I was doing this here today anyways, and just overview, looking at things for the week ahead. As we get started, hello to Miss C.M. Walker. And yes, a Saturday live. It is true, not usually something that we do on the channel, but yeah, we are going to just step through some charts here today, and I'm going to take questions as well as chart requests. If you guys would like me to look at something specific, please feel free to drop it in the chat. I figured I would start where we usually start, which is the dollar. The dollar continued this huge jump this previous week. We traded around 103.9. Price rallied off of that level without any hesitation. There's a couple things in terms of the fundamentals. Oh, is the mic bad? Hold on one second. Let me fix it.
Yeti mic. That should be better. Is the mic better now? Sorry about that. It is Nick. Yes, I am streaming from home today. I just had to connect the correct microphone. That should be there now. Please let me know. Is the mic okay now? Just comment if it sounds okay to you. DXY rallying, gold following or falling, PCE data higher, indicating high CPI maybe, and a rate hike. Yeah. Here's the thing, right? Part of the reason for dollar strength here is, okay, thank you guys for that feedback that it's okay. Cool. Yeah. So guys, comment what you would like me to look at. I'm happy to go over some charts here today that you request. I want to start with the dollar, and someone had a good question here in the audience. Apollo asks, the dollar's rallying, gold's falling, PCE data higher, indicating higher CPI and a higher rate hike potential. Yeah. So the thing is, with the PCE numbers that we saw this Friday, right? It showed yet again stubborn inflation, right? That seems to be a recurring theme. And it caused the dollar to drive higher because, again, what this means is that, well, if inflation is stubborn, if it's very high, there's a good chance that the Federal Reserve will continue to be on the hiking side of things, right? Or at the very least, the tightening side of things longer, meaning perhaps interest rates stay higher for longer, that sort of thing, or perhaps even to the opposite effect, or to the extreme effect that perhaps even more rate hikes are possible at some point this year, which is against what I thought would happen. But it does seem like inflation is remaining stickier than many, myself included, have thought. Now, of course, I'm not a high-level economist forecasting inflation, but it seemed like the trend had been going one way, and now it seems that the dollar strength is, for the time being, here to stick around. Some argue that the debt deal, if done, will cause even more U.S. dollar strength. It's an interesting take. I'm not too sure how that would play out. Now, I think that one reason I would argue for potential dollar weakness, right, if a dollar deal or a debt deal comes out, is that, what's driving this dollar higher in the debt ceiling front is the yields. So yields are rising. This is the bond market. The yields are rising right now because people are a bit hesitant about the about the ability of the debt to get paid back, right? So if you want to lend somebody, but they're talking about not paying back people, the bond market is selling off. That's why the yield market is rising. So for newer investors, traders, I know that can be a little bit confusing. When bonds fall, the yields tend to rise and vice versa. We saw a little bit of optimism come back into bonds here with that possibility of, resolution coming to that. And again, so if that drives higher and yields fall, that tends to cause the dollar to weaken. So we'll see if that plays out the way I'm thinking or not. But yeah, I don't really have any trades on the dollar, but I will take a look at some charts for you guys. Please comment what you would like me to look at. We've got dollar yen. Yeah, let's look at USD JPY, which, by the way, does have strong correlation to bond yields themselves. So we'll be taking a look at some charts here. We'll be doing some analysis. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, it is a weird time for me to stream, and it's going to be a quieter stream. So if you guys would like to support the channel, smash that thumbs up button and let's dive into some charts. So I'm getting ready for the week ahead. Dollar yen just stays so strong here, guys. And part of the reason here, I think, is again, that correlation to bond yields. If you trade dollar yen, you should be aware that it has a very strong correlation to yields in the United States. Anyways, price looks very, very strong here. It's kind of hard for me to justify any sell ideas. I'm sorry, that should be a demand zone on a chart like this, right? This is just such a strong chart. And of course, I'm pretty bearish on the yen. So if I, let me see, I'm going to pull up the edge finder here for us so that we can look at some stuff. Yeah, we'll look at some yen pairs. I smashed the thumbs up button and broke my device. Andy boy, that's your dedication to the channel. I appreciate it. Just kidding. Don't break your device. Yes. So what time frame is this? This is the 4 hour. So again, when we're doing a stream like this, when we're prepping for the week ahead, I'm going to stick to probably 4 hour charts, perhaps 1 hour charts. But really, when we're talking about this stuff, we're talking about a bigger picture, a little higher time frame analysis. The dollar yen broke higher, clearing previous resistance this past Friday, which was a big, yesterday was a big milestone for dollar yen bulls, right? That was a pretty impressive rally there. I want to also talk about, in terms of the smart money tracker, we should have new data in here. Let me make sure we do in fact have that. So yes, we in fact do. Look at this, the Canadian dollar, guys, the CAD taking precedence as the #1 shorted asset on the list. That's intense. You've got Japanese yen still on the short side. Let's see how Japanese yen contracts have changed. Wow, a ginormous increase, it seems, in shorts on the Japanese yen, which is fantastic for my current position. I am currently long euro yen, and considerably good for also pairs like dollar yen. How's the dollar change been? Change in shorts, slight decline, and increase in longs on the dollar. So very interesting to see that there. And guys, feel free, as we stick around here on the live stream, feel free to screenshot this if you want to look at it yourself. I know some of you guys don't have the Edge Finder yet. If you're thinking about it, you can always, of course, get it off our website, a1trading.com, if you want access to this tool yourself. But yeah, the Japanese yen, 76% short. You've got euro. So this was part of the reason why I'm still long euro yen. Japanese yen, institutional money, short, euros long. I guess this is our first look together of this week. Usually we do this on Sunday and Monday videos, but I am just doing some analysis here on Saturday with you guys. Yeah, this is a big increase in longs. Well, actually, how's that euro looking? Euro, slight decrease in longs on the euro. Change in short, also increase in shorts, decrease in longs. Interesting to see that. Regardless, still a very hefty presence on the long side from institutional money. Fed Watch tool indicating a 64% chance of a rate hike. Yeah, very, very big. And that's part of the reason why, again, that dollar has shot up so much. Goals for gold when market opens. So I'm still bullish on gold, but not from a price action standpoint. So institutional money is long gold, right? If I go to the watch list, I don't know that gold is on here yet. Nope, it's still. So when you don't see one on there here, guys, what this means it just means that essentially it's neutral. So I like to go ahead and filter out neutral things because, again, when I'm looking at the watch list, my goal is to get some sort of idea of what's going on in the markets where there may be some more strong biases based on the edge finder's finding. So so euro yen continues to be a buy. This is a trade I'm already in. I don't have anything else off of the current watch list off the edge finder. Again, looking at things like dollar yen, same with euro yen, the yen pairs just look really attractive. And in my opinion, even if they pull back, the idea of possibly even adding to my long idea is something I'm happy to do, right? So I have a trade open. I'm not logged in on this account right now on this trading view, but many of you guys probably saw my position if you were watching with us throughout the week. I was talking about my euro yen and NAS trades, two of my winners, and then my losing trade that I'm currently working with is the silver long position that I've got as well. So euro yen going into this week, if it does pull back, I think there may even be an opportunity for me to add to a trade that I really like. I do that occasionally. You guys who have been watching me for a while, you know how I trade generally. My trading technique is not a secret. It's not something boxed up in a course or anything like that. It's really pretty straightforward. I use pretty textbook technical analysis stuff, support and resistance breaks, retests. I trail stops, and I use fundamentals and sentiment analysis from the software tool that I just showed you, the EDGEFINDER, which has been built by my company, A1 Trading. So my company builds software tools for traders. We don't have anybody else here on deck. Usually when we do these live streams, it's me, and then we have two producers, and then we have three people who are on the support line to get people set up with the software tools. At the end of the day, that's kind of part of the reason why we do the stream so much, right? Well, the reason we're able to do the stream so much, I should say, is because, again, financially it's supported by people who choose to purchase our software tools that we use in our own trading. So if you guys do want access to the EDGEFINDER here, so I can't send you to connect with anybody, but if anybody would like to try out the tool, I'm going to drop something for you here in the chat. Give me just 1 second. So we're going to do free trials. So I'm going to give out some free trials here today while we're on the air. Okay, there we go. Okay, this link right here, if you guys click that, it's going to take you to a free trial form. So if you just fill that out, you can get a free trial of the software if you want to check it out for yourself. What do you think about oil? I have an open trade on oil. Yeah, I had an interest in going long oil this past week, but I just had so many things I was looking at and I decided not to take it. And if I'm being so honest about this, I think I probably would have been stopped out had I taken this trade. I was looking for a break and retest of this zone here. And so clearly didn't work out very well because price just plummeted, now came back up. So do I have any trades on oil? No, but what would I be looking at? Oil is an interesting one, right? Because you're seeing this back and forth because people are trying to weigh probabilities of like a recession. I think if we get some good, strong, possible soft landing news, that would break us out here, pullbacks, opportunities to go long kind of thing. But I really don't have as much of a bias as I did last week. I wanted this thing to just hold technically and show a strong breakout. But again, then we got further chances of rate hikes. So I think that just keeps oil kind of off my radar for now. Does that make sense? Again, further rate hike concepts, definitely something to think about. Be interesting to see if the 1935 pivot holds for gold. It's a major support level to reconfirm long-term uptrend on gold. We need a breakout, pullback of 1985. Yeah, let's go look at gold. I don't know, guys, comment real quick. Are you guys bullish or bearish on gold? I'm reading the chat a lot here today because it's not such a fast-paced stream. I did one of these last night too. I didn't do analysis, but I just hung out. Also answer some questions if anybody has questions about trading that they would like me to answer. I'm happy to do that. It is more of a chill stream here. Markets aren't moving, so we're just kind of doing analysis as well as just chatting trading. Do you think the Bank of Canada will raise interest rates or hold at next decision? That's a good question. I really don't pay too close attention to the Bank of Canada. I've gotten increasingly specialized over the last couple years with what I focus on. I focus very heavily on the Federal Reserve. I would say I also pay attention to the Bank of England, somewhat by proxy. I'm on a podcast where they talk about it all the time, so I kind of learn some things on the Market Pulse podcast. Is anybody a podcast listener, by the way? If you're a podcast listener and you would like me to drop that link for the podcast, let me know and I can get that for you. I'm on a podcast now. It's awesome. It's really, really cool. I enjoy doing it. We talk fundamentals. We talk, what's going on in the markets. It's awesome. So gold, yeah. What do you guys think? Bullish, bearish trend. Okay, bear. Dollar's very strong. 2 years up. Yeah. So what does it actually mean? Was a soft landing? It means good to see you, Jordan. You were here with us last night. Soft landing is the idea that soft landing is getting inflation back under control without needing to destroy the economy in the process. So jobs, right? Jobs and growth. You would think that these things are just good things for an economy, which they are, right? A job market that's really strong is really good. Growth, meaning, more GDP, more spending, more, house starts and all things like that, right? Those things are good for the economy, right? Well, yes, but they also have a nasty byproduct known as inflation. And inflation is devastating when it runs rampant. What it does is it makes it so that, these things, right, are good. Everyone's getting raises. Everybody's, the economy's good. This is why sometimes in, I guess, modern economics, the Federal Reserve and central banks around the world, they do want growth, but they want growth at a steady rate, not a rapid rate. Because when you get a massive surge in new jobs and massive growth, yes, it's good, but it can melt the economy into this inflation spiral that can be really devastating. We've seen this in the past. It's a nasty story. And so, yeah, the Federal Reserve, when we talk about soft landing, sometimes what is necessary in order to get this number to cool down, they have to hurt this, meaning they raise interest rates, which causes people to lose their jobs, right? Because businesses lose more money. Because again, higher interest rates means less money in the system. Borrowing is more expensive. It slows everything down, and that hurts the job market, and it hurts the growth of the economy. And that, in turn, slows inflation. This idea of a soft landing is being able to get this number down. It's what everybody would love to happen. It's just very difficult to actually do, right? Inflation coming down without having to destroy the jobs and growth of the economy, right? So that's the high level, I guess, concept of soft landing. Good question, by the way. Yeah, so I'm gonna answer as many questions. We're chilling out here, guys. If you're enjoying my stream here, do me a quick favor. This is a Saturday video. If you're enjoying this, if this is helpful to you, if you're chilling out, if you're watching from your bedroom, if you're watching in the living room, if you're watching wherever you're just chilling out, take half a second, smash that thumbs up button. It really does help. You guys are the best. Thanks. So gold, technical analysis real quick. Price, resistance, broke down, support, but then support broke. And then beautifully held resistance on a retest. And I'm not a gold bear, so I say beautifully just from a technical analysis perspective. This was a really, clean breakout to the downside. Price comes back up, sellers got strong and pushed yet again to the low side. So gold just looks bearish until it can get out of its own way here. I mean, the dollar is so strong, and we do see this thing just tagging against levels of resistance until this thing breaks the other way, until we start seeing, the opposite effect. This is not something I can really justify getting long on. Frank pointed out, my colleague, and he works for me at my company. He's been eyeing this longer term level of support. And I think, this is a daily level. If this level holds, right, then perhaps you have something here. But also at the same point of time, if this level breaks, you've also got something concerning, a bigger slip to the downside, perhaps. So I think gold's at a decision point. For me, I like to trade mostly on the 4-hour chart in terms of where I'm basing my decisions, 4-hour and 1 hour. So this chart just looks so bearish. I have to see it start to break on this 4-hour chart to the upside, and then I could potentially look at some long ideas. But yeah. So that's where I'm at with it. Nick, you see the inflation in the US go down? Willem, it doesn't seem like that's the case right now. I mean, PCE numbers on Friday were super, against that idea. And, for me, it's one of those things. I'm a trader. I react to what's going on. And with inflation numbers staying sticky, I can't really just keep hoping that they break. I have to see something happen. So for me, what that would mean is that if inflation starts to cool rapidly and we get something that starts breaking gold out, right, the technicals and the fundamentals may start to align to a point where I can potentially get long on gold again, right? But I'm just not there with what I'm currently watching for on the chart. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Let's go, Nick. What's up, Rafal? Thank you for being here. If gold breaks lower, I think it will run hard to the downside. There's so much space there due to the huge run up at the beginning of the year. Benjamin, I'm kind of with you. I think it's kind of concerning that, this inflation stubbornness is really going to put a damper on this gold upside. So I mentioned that I have a long trade open on silver. Let me show you guys that. Let me get into my brokerage, pull up my silver chart here. Okay, so this is my brokerage. By the way, do we have any US people in the chat right now? Any US people hanging out with me? If you're in the US, I got something cool for you, and it is free. Okay, so I have my NASDAQ trade. Obviously, this is my winning trade. Let's talk about a tougher trade that I'm in. Well, I guess it's recovered a little bit. I was long. So this is silver. So I'm trading silver here on this broker. I know this looks a little different than TradingView. This is a silver chart or a silver ETF that tracks the price of silver, essentially. And what you'll see here is that this market has just gone down, down, down. So my current position on this, I have two things open. I have a long position, 150 shares. I entered around here. And then I also sold puts on SLV with a strike price of 20. This allows me to capture premium, which I know these are a lot of jargon words, and especially for traders who do not trade options, or I don't really trade options. So this is new to me as well. I'm being so honest with that. Like, I'm not an options trader. I am learning, however. It's something that's kind of been on my radar. A friend of mine has, a couple of friends of mine, actually, my friend Garrett and my friend Chris Pulver, who's been on the channel. Well, actually, both of those individuals have been on the channel, good friends of mine. And both of them have discussed options with me a couple of different times. And eventually I finally was like, you know what, let me check this out. So anyways, yeah, live on a Saturday. Yes, Big G, we are here. What are the top Forex pairs that usually tend to trend? Forex is an interesting one, right? Because it does, I think everything has its moment in the sun, but the problem is, currencies inherently over the very long term, they tend to just range. Whereas, when you talk about something like silver or gold or NASDAQ, those things tend to trend even more. Hence why, for me personally, when it comes to capital allocation, most of my trading capital is invested in, trading indices. I mean, this trade, for example, is a much larger size than what I trade currencies with. This NASDAQ trade that I've been talking about, I haven't shut up about. I keep bragging about because I don't know. You guys know how sometimes you got to wait so patiently to finally catch the trade. This was the trade for me. I finally caught the trade that I was looking for on the NASDAQ. I've been watching the indices for a couple of weeks now. I had a couple S&P wins, but I wanted the NASDAQ, and I finally got it this past week, and it just exploded. So, yeah. Anyways, U.S. friends, did anybody? Okay, I'm from the U.S. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, okay. U.S. friends. The broker that I'm using right here is called Weeble, and it's an awesome brokerage. So the reason I share this with my U.S. friends specifically is because if you guys are, if you're in the US and you want to trade gold and indices, this is your, my opinion, this is the broker for you. So I'm going to drop something in the chat. Does this link work? I hope that works. I'm going to check. I just dropped a link in the chat. Okay, yes. So check this out, guys. US friends, if you join with Weeble using the link that I just dropped in the chat, so it's an affiliate link, so you're supporting the channel straight up. I'm not going to try and tell you I wouldn't get something out of it. We both get shares for free. So for my US friends, this is unfortunately for my international friends, this offer is not on the table. They only do it for US people. You can get up to 24 free shares when you sign up with Weeble. And Weeble is amazing because you can trade stocks, indices, cryptos. You can trade like this trade. This is a NASDAQ trade. I'm able to trade NASDAQ, but I'm not doing it on a sketchy offshore brokerage. I'm doing it on a large, regulated American institutional broker. So if you guys have been looking for that, I looked for a long time for something that was good for me. I finally decided Weeble has an amazing trading platform. It feels and looks a lot like TradingView, yet I can trade directly in here. I can move my orders around. I can adjust things. So yeah, Weeble's not just for US citizens. XRP, wait, who? I thought it was. Where else can Weeble users sign up? Do you know that, XRP? Where else can you trade? Wait, I can trade with Weeble too from Singapore? Wait a second. That's game changer. I thought it was only US. Shows how much I know about. And also, by the way, that I don't have any relationship with Weeble. I just genuinely love their tools. Like, well, actually, I should take that back. I mean, everything that I partner with is something I genuinely really like. I don't partner with things on my channel that I don't think are, a great thing to consider or to look at. But I really like that. Can't open one from UAE. Yeah, I think it's limited. I don't know which countries can or cannot. I can trade with Weeble from Singapore. Okay, so we know Singapore has that option. That's amazing. That's so cool. But yes, again, if you use the link that I just dropped in the chat, you may or may not be able to use Weeble from your country, but you get free shares when you sign up. They're super. One of my favorite things by Coca-Cola. I own Coca-Cola. It's funny you say that, Mickey John. I'll show you my Coca-Cola position. I've got two things going on with Coke. I've owned the shares for a while. Here's my daily chart. I've owned the shares since back here. I bought it in March of this year. But then I also recently sold puts. And this is something I'm experimenting with. What this June 30th put says is that essentially I have the obligation to buy 100 shares of Coca-Cola at a strike price of $56. It's a bit confusing. And again, I'm still getting used to it myself. I'm learning with options right now. Selling puts for premium or selling calls on things that I own are kind of a cool concept to me. I love like cash flow positive trading trading options can be cool like that, or selling options especially. I've always loved that across everything that I do. I like buying dividend stocks. I also like when I'm trading currencies, like for example, this euro yen trade that I'm in, guys, pays me positive swaps each day that I hold it. Because when we look at the euro against the Japanese yen, so this is cool, right? So when we look at the interest rates, the interest rate in Europe is much higher than the interest rate in Japan. And so when you hold on to the euro long and the Japanese yen short, you're selling your yen to buy euros, you actually get paid a positive swap for doing this. So it's kind of interesting to look at that from that perspective. Can you look at euro pound, please? Sure. Let's take a quick look at euro pound. What's going on here? Oh man, this chart is just choppy for me. This chart is very, very choppy. If I'm being honest, I mean, when somebody asks me to take a look at a chart, I'm just going to give you my honest take. I'm not going to try and, create more interest than there is. For me, this is a tough chart because this is just really range bound off the 4-hour. Perhaps you're trading something more range bound, and if you are, then this may be an excellent candidate, right? If you've been in here just trading ranges, selling resistance and buying support, right? I mean, this has been a heck of a candidate. Just not something that I personally would trade. So for me personally, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a break, right? One way or the other, something like, get something moving here before I'm really interested. That's just my take on it. Okay. Can you drop me a podcast link? Yeah. Podcast listeners, give me a second. I'm going to get you a link for this. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up on my Twitter. By the way, if you guys, first of all, question for the YouTube. This is a curious question. Yes or no? Do you guys use Twitter? I know Twitter is like, let's drop my Twitter. If anybody uses Twitter, feel free to follow. I've been really active on Twitter. Like Twitter has become my spot when I'm like just pulling stuff up. I mean, we're doing like shorts on Twitter or like clips on Twitter. Sometimes. Yeah. If you get whoever uses Twitter, if you use Twitter, follow me on Twitter. I'll see if you see your face. If you just followed me on Twitter, if you're following me on Twitter right now, I'll refresh this in a second. We'll see if your face pops up, which is awesome. Not a Twitter, no worries. Benjamin, yes. So be very careful with options, Nick. I think you need to do what you do best and start small with them. Many people wreck themselves selling options, but it sounds like you've got some good guys with you. Yes, Benjamin, thank you for the, I'm very, very aware how, dangerous options can be. But here's the thing, Benjamin, right? So I'm not just, sort of selling, blindly on a high risk stock. For example, if I was doing this with like something like SQ, right? It was a high, flyer during the 2021 craze. If you were selling puts on this one, every time it gets filled, you're 100 shares further in. If you were just even doing one contract, if you were doing more than that, you're talking about a massive position that you would have been locked into. So I'm not doing it on a high risk stock. I'm doing it on Coca-Cola, something that basically, right, what this is going back to my options for a second. I'm selling a put at $56. And Benjamin, I know you probably know this already. You understand this, it seems like. I'm just saying this generally for anybody else who's watching and curious. I'm selling a put at $56 strike price. So what that means is that if let's say Coca-Cola trades back up and on this expiration date, the 30th of June, if we're just trading up here, this gets canceled, nothing happens, and I collect the premium that I collected. I think I collected literally like $25. It's like a nothing premium. I'm just exploring. And I just collect the $25 and I'm done. And whatever, I continue to hold on to the shares that I already own, and that's it. However, if the share price of Coca-Cola drops to a point where it's actually underneath and I get assigned, that means that I just agreed to buy 100 more shares at $56. I've actually accepted that I would like to do that anyways. If price came down to $56 and I'd like to build a bigger position on Coca-Cola, which is a company I believe in for the long term, it's a low risk stock. People love their Coca-Cola products. And I would be happy to buy it there anyways. So I'm kind of using options to collect premium. And also, by the way, even if this goes down, I still collect my $25 in premium anyways. You collect the premium on the open of or at the beginning of selling an option. So it's a bit of an advanced, the concept of options is a little bit, it's tricky for me, and I've been trading and doing this stuff for years. I'm just not, practiced on it, on that stuff. But yeah. So let's see. Twitter has improved after Musk has taken over. I really didn't use it too much past like a couple of months ago. I started in like January, so I couldn't tell you too much how it looked before and after. What happened to the free version of the Edge Finder, if I could speak? Hector, so I'll be so honest with you, Hector. We have about 4 or 5 of us in the office who administer and work with people who want the Edge Finder. We offered a very limited free version for a while, but we decided to pull it off of our website because, again, what ended up happening, we have, when you look at the software, I mean, I know I talk about this pretty often, but I like to I like to tell you guys about the business. I don't really care. I make money from trading. I make money from YouTube. I make money from the software business that I run, which is, all 3 of them are incredibly demanding roles. And this one, especially, the software side of things, developing software, administering a team of people to train people on is a lot of work. And, we offered a free version for a little bit, but, I'll be frank, I'm paying salaries for people to build the tool, paying people to administer trials for people. So we've decided to no longer offer a free version because the free version that we were offering was super limited and it was just making people kind of upset. So we decided, at the end of the day, we have costs ourselves. If people really want to get access to the software, they can either purchase it or they can just watch my YouTube channel or the A1 Trading YouTube channel and get, glimpses of the Edge Finder here and there. That's me being as honest as I possibly can about it. We decided that it was not worth it financially for the business to offer a free version that had a ton of things because it was discouraging people from considering the full thing. So that's just the straight up truth. We decided we had a trial, we had a free version, but then people weren't really interested in getting the full version because, again, we were giving it all away. But then we're like, well, we have, this is a several $100,000 product that's been in the making. We have bills to pay. So, that's the truth, right? In order for us to offer such great tools, we have to pay all the people involved in building it. So is there a free trial? Yes, we do offer free trials. We just removed the free version because, again, being so honest with you guys, it was probably costing us a lot of people who ultimately would have decided to go ahead and get the software and support our project. They were just, taking the free version and being cool with that. And again, I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, you've got to pay us. But at the end of the day, building a software like this, I mean, things break all the time. We have, there's 10 people on staff behind this project. We have bills to pay. And that's just the reality of building a software company. If you guys would like to try out the software, I'll drop this link here in the chat so that you can request a trial. And again, I appreciate so many of you guys are really understanding with that stuff. We have a lot of people who are, they fully understand. Of course, you always get the people who are like, it should be free. And it's like, well, did you pay the $500,000 that's involved in that? If I'm being so transparent about it, it's a costly venture and not everything in the world is free. If you guys would like a trial though, here it is. So yes, click that link, trial link, and there you go. If you guys would like to try out the software, you're more than welcome to do that. You also can watch on the YouTube channel anytime you want. I'm not trying to just say, hey, you got to buy it. But if you guys are thinking about getting it, first of all, we genuinely appreciate each person that purchases it. And with that, whenever somebody purchases the software, we like to train people on it. We enjoy that. I mean, several people on staff are going through and working with people. So yeah, Hector, I understand. Thank you for the honesty. Yeah, Hector, I appreciate you understanding, man. That's just the reality, right? I wish that we had a model currently where it could just be free for all and we could still cover all of our costs. But that just unfortunately is not the real world right now. Perhaps there's a future where we could just have it for free and somehow the company makes money still from offering it for free. But that is, kind of like YouTube, right? YouTube is free videos, but then the ad revenue helps to pay for some of our costs. I mean, I have 2 editors that manage and run the channels and produce the content and the live streams and such. So after that, we don't really make any money off of ad revenue in profit. So it just covers costs. Sorry, we're getting to stick to the trading part. Sometimes, I love it all. I love running software business. I love creating content. I love doing the trading side, right? And each one has its pros and cons. One of the big pros of trading is that, you know, when you're in a great runner like this, I talked about this a lot. This one trade, right, has paid for a lot of losses that I've had this year. I think this one trade, even if it continues to run, speaking of NASDAQ, let's chat about NASDAQ for a moment. If the NASDAQ keeps running, and I don't know that it will. I'm at this point, I'm trailing stops. I'm pretty agnostic to what happens next. If price does fall and continues to break underneath structure, I'll take a profit and I'll move on. Of course, I would prefer it to keep going, right? If it keeps going, that will be an opportunity for me to continue to trail stops, to continue to lock in more on this stop loss trailed into profit. So again, I entered back here. That's position. My stop order is right here. Watching NASDAQ to see, one of the big pros, of course, about trading is that if you're trailing stops, one thing that I absolutely love is that when you're trailing stops, one of the biggest pros is that your upside is technically infinity, right? Technically, the NASDAQ could continue to run for a long time. And I could continue to technically just trail this stop loss. And the upside is, again, by technical standards, it's infinity. So one of the cool things about it is, again, that upside can be very, very huge, especially when trading indices. Now, of course, you can also lose a lot of money if you're not careful with indices. Many of us are probably well aware of that as well. You can make your own EDGEFINDER. So, Andy, so here's the thing. We get that comment sometimes. You can certainly find some of the same content. There's no disputing that. It's just that, you know, most people do not have the technical ability to do that. And again, we've built our own at a professional level. And the cost to building something like this, you know, is upwards of 6 figures to get all the data sources, to make it all automated, to make it appear nice, to make it, you know, so it is possible to do. Again, most people don't have, you know, 40 hours a week for 6 months to build something like this on their hands, right? So again, it's kind of like one of those things. It's like if you buy it for the one-time price, especially when it goes on discount. By the way, guys, if you've been thinking about it, the EDGEFINDER is going on sale next week. That's a secret. But for those of you who are here, sale is happening next week. But get your trial today while you're here. Grab the trial if you've been thinking about it. And again, the sale is going off big time. I don't disagree with Nick for charging a cost for proprietary software. All other academies for channels charge. Why shouldn't he seem? Oh, well, Tarek, it's not even an option. It's not greed. It's not anything. We would not be able to do what we do if we didn't sell software at a price that facilitates all the free content and all the stuff. I mean, this stuff would not exist without our sponsors and the software tools that we're building here. I mean, it would just look like what Stream is looking like today. It would just be me and I wouldn't have any, you know, team to make what we make happen. My team is really quite a game changer. How many days in the free trial? We have it just depends. Sometimes when we have like a lot of asking for EDGEFINDER trials, we do shorter ones, which is kind of right now. We do shorter trials during that time because, again, each person that trials out the EDGEFINDER, someone from my team connects with you, they work with you, they go back and forth with you, answer questions. So we do it on a manual, individual basis. It's not like an automated trial where like a lot of times you'll go to like TradingView and get like a trial or something like that, which is great. But we do a different process. Each trial that we do, you'll meet someone from my team who will chat with you on how you can learn with the EDGEFINDER, make sure that you understand it. Because again, when you look at all this stuff, there's a million things to look at here. And there is videos and such. But again, it's nice to have somebody to ask your questions to and work with. And so we do trials on a manual, individual basis. We answer your questions. We go through training with you. So if you've been thinking about it, click that link that's just been dropped. in the chat. I just dropped it one more time. This will take you to a trial spot, and someone will connect with you the next couple days. So yeah. How does the EDGEFINDER work, and will it let me know when to enter and to exit trades? Tape policies. So here's the thing. The EDGEFINDER it's kind of like, I like to use it as like a loose like weather forecast kind of thing for trading. So for example, we have all these different indicators, right, that we pay attention to. Not technical indicators, not MACDs or anything like that. I'm talking about, sentiment indicators and fundamental indicators. So GDP growth, inflation, unemployment, interest rates, and how it might impact each one of these assets. Seasonal trends, trend reading, retail sentiment, the commitment of traders data. We pull in all this stuff and we get a bias. From that bias, so for example, if I'm looking at USO, right, US oil, we have a +4 score with a bias of buy. This doesn't tell me, oh, go buy it instantly right now and just close your eyes and, plug your nose. No, it's just telling me that the general outlook based on all of these factors is a buy. So let's go look at oil just as an example, and we'll get into a closer look. So we can pull up the individual chart. And again, populates, all this stuff is automatically pulled in by timers and software code that we've built to do this. So check this out. When looking at oil, it's getting a buy rating. And we can look through all the different categories as to why that rating exists. So if we look at COT data, institutional money is very long oil. Okay, cool. Retail traders are also long oil though, so that works against us. It gives us a -1 score. Seasonal trends show that in the month of May, we have a slight positive expectancy, historically speaking, on the price of oil. Notably, June is pretty flat. Trend reading is to the upside. We have momentum recently to the upside. This is based on the daily chart. GDP growth shown here. GDP growth change has been recently down. Of course, growing economies tend to be more positive for oil. So also though, inflation. Commodities tend to do better in periods of higher inflation due to, again, more dollars being printed. So that can be a contributing factor to the upside. Unemployment, interest rates. We look at all these things, and then we go look at the charts. So the EDGEFINDER is not an entry and exit signal machine. That would be, cool if that sort of system existed. But what it's really used for is giving us a general directional bias based on some of these key metrics that we pay attention to. So now I know, okay, these things are generally pointing bullish, but the chart is not quite at a point that I want to buy it at personally. Now, you may have a different strategy than me on the technical side, but it's up to you on the technical side then to look for entries and exits. So the EDGEFINDER gives us a bias. So if I'm looking at this thing going into next week, and I know that I'm generally more interested on the bullish side, well, then maybe what I'm looking for is either a retest of support or a breakout. So for me, I mentioned earlier in the stream, what I would really be interested would be a breakout higher, because that could be on news of, possibly a greater chance of a soft landing. Perhaps economies are turning around. They're looking better, something like that. And they're looking for breaks and retests, but perhaps you like range trading, or you like, just buying at support levels with your own strategy, whatever you do. I mean, that's up to you. If price comes down, perhaps there's something there to be looking to be on the long side too, right? Whatever your strategy is, that's up to you. But does that make sense? Type yes in the chat if my breakdown there just made sense to you on the EDGEFINDER. The EDGEFINDER is a tool that takes in several things into consideration and gives a general bias. Then I take that general bias and I go and I look for opportunities based on my technical strategy, which I generally look for higher lows, higher highs, trends, pullback opportunities, and I like to trail stops. So yeah. Andy boy, that's funny. Trade against Trader Nick. If you inverse my strategy, yeah, you would have, I guess, trailing take profit, which is really interesting. No stop loss, unlimited potential risk, limited reward. Interesting. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for the yeses. Appreciate you on that. Yeah, so that's generally how it works. I mean, it's a software that helps us look at lots of different metrics at the click of a button without having to go dig through 37 articles to get a full picture. If you're trying to figure out stuff about COT data, seasonal trends, inflation numbers, unemployment, the software kind of automates most of that. EDGEFINDER would work best with swing traders. Cedric, the thing is we actually have a lot of day traders who use it. Day traders benefit as well because even if you're a day trader, let's look at euro yen, right? Euro yen. Some of these factors. Euro yen is currently a buy rating. It's also one that I'm long on myself. Day traders benefit from the EDGEFINDER as well because even if you're not trading off the 4-hour chart, you might still benefit from just understanding this sort of scope of what's going on. Meaning, if you're like a 1-hour chart trader, let's just start fresh, and the EDGEFINDER has a buy rating, right? And you look at the chart and you say, I agree. I like the chart long. And you say, okay, EDGEFINDER's got a general bullish outlook. And we get something like this. This is a more intraday style or chart that we're looking at. Price breaks higher. And you say, okay, well, this is happening with an EDGEFINDER move that's looking really strong. So any pullbacks I'm going to be perhaps more interested in looking at. Price comes down to a level that would have been, I mean, obviously I'm picking a perfect example and, cherry picking is a real thing. So I'm not trying to, not every trade is going to be perfect like that. I'm just giving you an example. Euro yen on a day trader's perspective still might have benefited from understanding what the EDGEFINDER was showing about the macro, about what's going on in this market. Because even if I think day traders sometimes think, oh, fundamentals don't apply to me. They certainly do. Because a day breakout, its failure or success very well may be determined by what the fundamentals are. If you get a pop above resistance and the fundamentals are very strong, that might help you eliminate false breakouts. So day traders who say like, oh, fundamentals don't apply to me, I think you may benefit from understanding them more than you think. Understanding the fundamentals can tell you oftentimes how real a move is likely to be. If you know that there's just a catastrophic change in the market, fundamentally, as a day trader, you still might benefit from knowing that. Does that make sense? Type yes in the chat if that makes sense. Again, fundamentals, I think, are beneficial to both swing traders and day traders. I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you just say to yourself, oh, fundamentals don't apply to me. They certainly do. Day traders, because again, here's another example, right? NVIDIA. Day traders who traded the stock knew that this move here, if you understood what happened, right? They had a massive quarter, a massive increase in guidance, all of these things, massive potential for continuation. I mean, there's a reason why this popped open and it didn't just go boop, right? The fundamentals sometimes can give you a little bit of a clue as to how real a move is likely to be. So hopefully that makes sense. EDGEFINDER gives the same direction as your past strategy with MA 50 and 200, agreeing with each other. Cedric, can you prove otherwise? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. However, let me see if I can find something. So in terms of my past strategy being a 50 and 200 moving average, those might have been technical things that I still like to this day, right? In fact, the EDGEFINDER does incorporate some level of moving averages in what it does show. So we talked about oil earlier. And if I'm looking at like the 50 and 200, let's see, indicators. Let's see, do I have my moving averages? Yeah, 20 and 50. Let's just change this to 50 and 200 just to see what it looks like. So it's definitely different, right? Because currently the EDGEFINDER has a bias towards the upside, but I'd probably only be trading it like around here, like if it broke and retested. So it's very different than just purely a simple, like the EDGEFINDER has several metrics that are not just price related. There are often times where the EDGEFINDER gives a reading that disagrees entirely with what the technical chart says, and I have to wait for the technical chart to make sense. If that makes sense. Like, so for example, maybe the EDGEFINDER says, let's see, maybe pound Aussie. I don't know what pound Aussie even looks like right now. Pound Aussie. Hope that one is trending well. What's EuroCAD up to? Someone asked about EuroCAD earlier. So EuroCAD, I gotta get this thing off the screen for a second. Yeah. So my point is there's oftentimes where the EDGEFINDER is giving something a sell reading, like maybe UK 100. That's a good example. Maybe US 30. US 30. Yeah, so this chart is getting a sell reading. It is also kind of trending. So I'd say most of the time you get something, but let's see if we can find any examples. It seems like everything is trending really strong right now. CAD yen neutral. Yeah, I mean, so here's like an example as well. You have like CAD yen, which does not get a score from the EDGEFINDER, but it's trending super well, right? So the EDGEFINDER is not bullish on this thing, even though it's trending very well to the upside. So there's a little bit of, you know, price is included in the EDGEFINDER's analysis, but here's part of the reason why I wouldn't buy this chart. I can break it down for you. If I go minor currency pairs, CAD yen. Big money, when it loads here, is super short on the CAD. Not sure why it's loading so slow. There it goes. So you can see the Canadian dollar is super short by institutional traders on the COT data. So yeah. So you can see, like, it's not just purely a, oh, the moving average is doing this. Sometimes it will keep me out of certain things because of other things, right? Other factors. So yeah, there you go, guys. If you do, again, I mentioned it earlier, if you would like to try out the EDGEFINDER for free, there is a trial link in the chat right now. And I also mentioned, for those of you guys who are thinking about getting the software, there is a sale coming up this in June 1st. We will have a big sale announcement. It's a secret. I'm not talking about publicly anywhere else, but we're just here on the live stream. So for my friends here who are thinking about it, wait until June 1st. Get yourself access to the software. Then it'll be the biggest discount of the entire summer. So don't miss out on that. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I am off to do some other things with my day. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you back for tomorrow's video. See you guys.